yeah, people think, oh, I got married to this song or conceived a child to this song, lost my virginity to this song. Yeah, I know you hear all sorts of like crazy,
Now,
crazy, crazy
now
moments that have happened. Yeah,
that's awesome. Now I kind of want to know what the most common song is that people are conceived to.
yeah.
what's, what's the most common answer?
The most common Ash song, or
Yeah, Ash song.
oh yeah, Ash song. I don't know. Well, I know people have got married a lot to Shining Light, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people lost their virginity to the whole 1977.
Put a pep in your step, turn your frown upside down, make it more fun to be around. Instant mood improver, instant mood improver, instant mood improver. The songs that make you feel happy again.
G'day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Instant Mood Improver, a happy music podcast, the podcast where we talk to people all about the songs that put a pep in their step, turn their frown upside down, and otherwise make this miserable existence a little bit more enjoyable, if only for 3 beautifully poppy minutes at a time. Today's guest is Tim Wheeler from the awesome Northern Irish indie rock band Ash. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. My mood's pretty good. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good, and of course your mood would be good because you're about to play a bunch of shows in Australia again on the singles tour, which is a bit of a retrospective run, looking at all the best bits of Ash's career to date.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 30 years since our first single. So yeah, and I think we put out something like 60. So we have to whittle it down a bit for this tour. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
60 songs. Can you think of what your favorite one is out of all those? What's your number one song, baby?
Oh wow. I guess it's well, it's probably in common with a lot of the fans. It's probably Girl from Mars, which I love that one, because probably because of the reaction it gets, every time we play
Yeah, it's a pretty fun song. Like I remember hearing
it.
it on the radio growing up, and
Awesome.
yeah, it really hit it quite close to home with quite a few people I knew that just loved the sound, but also the little story that's attached to it.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah.
Now you're quite popular in Australia, which is as most Irish
Yeah.
things are,
Yeah.
and you do a lot of touring around parts. What's going to make this tour a different experience to the prior runs you've done down under?
Oh, well, I don't know. It's always good, we've got, like, I guess people have been coming to see us for in Australia since our first tour was end of 1995, and we did two small shows in Melbourne and Sydney, but I guess we come quite consistently. But yeah, I guess that people know that we're gonna, like, go for it. We love a reaction of the Australian fans, and we always like to play quite a fast, upbeat set. And yeah, this is it's 30 years since our first single, so we're going to be digging out a lot of the early ones, I think, because it's quite a nice chance to play, like, our first singles. And then we had a new album out last year as well, so there's some quality tunes from that we'll sneak into. So yeah, I don't know. We'll try and cover as much, a lot of favorites for everyone. But yeah, and the new material did sound really great on any touring we've done since it came out. So yeah, there'll be a few of those tunes in too.
That's awesome. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
completely ignore Race the Night. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. There's definitely bangers on there for sure.
Now, bangers, bangers, bangers. Bangers are stuff that makes us feel good when we hear it instantly. And on this podcast, we are concerned with talking about the music that instantly improves your mood the moment that you hear it. So, can you think of a song that instantly improves your mood the moment you hear it?
Oh yeah, you know this is quite easy for me. I Want You Back by the Jackson Five. Have many people picked that one? I'm
No, no,
curious.
no one has up until this
Really?
point.
Yeah.
No, we've had some repeats, like a lot of Bob
Oh,
Marley getting repeated, but
yeah,
people
that's feel
people
good.
have never chosen this song, and it's a killer track. What is it
It's unbelievable.
that makes you feel so good?
Well, there's a lot of ingredients in it. Like, first of all, from the very first guitar bit, that is just absolutely brilliant. And then it kicks in, and the bass line is just insane, and then you got like this little kid just like absolutely going for it with like, and it's like a love song from a little kid. It's pretty just such a sweet little thing. Okay, I know Michael Jackson has a lot of, it's quite tainted nowadays, but I don't know. It's like this, I guess young innocent vibe in it, which I don't know. It's just, and it's really up tempo. It's pretty fast and it's so groovy, and I don't know, and it's just all over in just like a few minutes as well. It's yeah. I think when you're talking about instant mood improver, it's this this one is hard to beat, I think.
Do you feel like it's a genre that you associate personally with a lot of good times in your life and like with a lot of enjoyable
Oh yeah,
experiences?
like Motown vibes. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's yeah for sure. Yeah, because it was well yeah, I remember the single when I was like a kid as well, and I went to the store and I bought it on 7 inch. It was like must be that was probably like 1988 or something like that. And I don't know why they re-released it, but anyway, it has sort of flown back up the charts again. So I had like a kind of treasured 7 inch of it, but then yeah, I did discover Motown stuff probably later on as I kind of grew up. But sure, it was in the background a lot, but yeah, there's so many feel good tracks like My Girl, and I really love anything Smokey Robinson is involved with, and the Temptations and Supremes. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Motown is very strong in the feel good factor,
Now,
and
music.
when the songs are the songs can be about heartbreak, but they'll pick you up as well.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's sort of something you share in common with them too. As
Yeah.
like most songwriters, like there's a way to find the light in dark times through music, and I think like it kind of acts as a social religion in many ways. It connects people from various walks of life and makes them feel that kind of spiritual fulfillment almost that you would get from being a religious person or something like that when you
Oh
come
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And Do you feel that for kind of love coming when you're on stage from your fans? Like, do you see them instantly being put back into these like positive experiences in their lives from the stage?
Yeah, 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 and even when people are reliving the hard, hard times, because sometimes music is a time machine, and it often takes you back to the first time you were listening to it. Like you kind of sometimes remember like the first time you heard you know, especially like um, especially like for example, teenage times. Like a lot of our fans were like we were a teenage band. We had a lot of teenage fans at the time, so they were yeah, I don't know, going. It's such a turbulent time. You're going through so many kind of changes and so many emotions. So the music that connects with that, it can be so powerful to revisit. Yeah.
It can be like my favorite thing in the world. I'm also a musician, and my favorite thing in the world, either when I'm on stage or I'm off stage, is being at a show and seeing the moment when an entire room of people from different walks of life are connected on one emotional and sonic plane
Yeah.
for the entirety of however long the set goes for of the band they're seeing. It's just really cool to see
Yeah.
people share in a communal experience like that. And you've made a
Yeah.
career out of creating those communal experiences with people. So I'm sort of curious, has anyone ever told you that your music instantly improves their mood and makes their life better?
Oh yeah. I guess yeah, you sort of see it. Yeah, because I don't know. If someone's gone and got a tattoo of your lyrics on it, that must mean, like that line like has really connected deeply. And yeah, I don't know, there's yeah, people think, oh, I got married to this song, or conceived a child to this song, lost my virginity to this song. Yeah, I know you hear all sorts of like crazy,
Now,
crazy, crazy
now
moments that have happened. Yeah,
that's awesome. Now I kind of want to know what the most common song is that people are conceived to.
yeah.
What's the most common answer?
The most common Ash song, or
Yeah, Ash song.
oh yeah, Ash song. I don't know. Well, I know people have got married a lot to Shining Light, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of people lost their virginity to the whole 1977 album. So maybe we'll pick Goldfinger from that album. Yeah, I think there was, yeah, someone did tell me they lost their virginity to Goldfinger, and I think it was a singer of a band, The Twang. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now, I've
yeah.
I've got a bit of a Goldfinger story in a sense. I used to play
Ah,
Nintendo 64 shooting
oh,
my friends while listening to this record. So
hey, oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, we used to. There was Gran Turismo as well. We had a lot of. We had, I think, one or two songs in that as well. That was
yeah,
another. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that
great.
came with every console at some point. Yeah.
It was mad fun back in the day, like Gran Turismo. You could do up like really bad cars and make them race against. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that was a great, yeah, brilliant game.
it was a brilliant game. Now, as a band, Ash have been, as you said, kicking around for like 30 years at this point. How do you maintain kind of the desire and the ambition and the creativity and all the things that are required to manage the relationships that are involved in being in a band?
Well, I don't know. I think we're always working on new material, so that cool like sideline. Even when we're on tour, we're sort of like thinking about our new records and yeah, so like we've been recording a lot this summer, and there'll be new stuff next year as well. But just those days when we're in the rehearsal room and we're like trying out new ideas, like and kicking songs into shape, like that's just it always just feels the same way it did as when we were like in the in the we used to rehearse in this cottage when we were like 15, where we started the band. It just feels the same, and it's always exciting just trying to think. There's always potential when you're working on new music. You just never know where it's going to go and who it's going to connect with. And so I don't know. We're always still like, even though it's harder to hit the charts these days, we're always dreaming of like, oh, this song, this is a real banger. You never know where this is going to go. So yeah. So and the playing the shows is just always so fun. Like I don't know. It's exciting music to play. It's not. I don't know. It's never got boring. And yeah, the and when you're in a three piece as well, every single person in the band has to work so hard. So it kind of requires full attention, and so it's very fulfilling when you get to the end of a gig. And I don't know, because if anything goes wrong, if one of you drops out, it's everything just falls apart. So I don't know, you're always on edge. Yeah, and they're good guys. Like I love Mark and Rick so much, and we've been through so much together. So it's and the fans are just still brilliant as well.
That's
There's
awesome.
lots of ingredients.
There
Yeah.
are there are lots of ingredients. Now, of course, the press release for this came out with the obvious tracks in it. Your Kung Fu, your Girl from
Okay.
Mars, your Oh Yeah, your Goldfinger, your Shining Light, as you mentioned, your Burn Baby Burn. That's my favorite of the
Awesome.
of the tracks is Burn Baby Burn. But what's your favorite track that's on the set list for this upcoming tour to play live that's not Girl from Mars?
Yeah. Well, there's one called Brain Dead from the last album, Recent Night, which I just love playing the guitar solos on. So it's quite fun in the set. There's a track Crashed Out Wasted as well from the last album. I wonder, will we, it's quite a long one, but if we get time to play it, that's like a fun one. And I don't know, but I love playing Girl from Mars. I just love it's just the reaction that it gets is awesome. And maybe we'll probably play a bunch of the early singles like Jack Names the Planets as well, and we hadn't played that a lot until we did a gig in Spain on Saturday night, and we played it. I was like, oh, it's such a cracking song. So maybe we'll, being an anniversary tour, maybe we'll like kick off the shows with that one. I think it'd be quite nice. Our first single like from 30 years ago, like pretty much exactly, yeah.
That's the perfect way to kick off this type of a tour, I reckon. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
And it also rewards people for being on time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so sad when you go see a band and you miss a few songs. You're like, oh, when they played your favorite one early, that does suck.
It really does. Have
Yeah.
you found much has changed through touring over the last 30 years? Obviously, the industry changed heaps. Like we've gone from being like we're t-shirt salesmen now, and
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Have you found that much has changed in the live space though, or do you feel like it's still the same good old times?
Yeah, I guess it's good. Like way more festivals than there were when we were starting out. Like So that's one kind of cool thing. Although it's been that way for like 20 years, you know, with tons and tons of festivals. But and I guess they've all got like most of them have got really kind of professional. So um, yeah, I guess maybe early on, like you had no idea what you were going to get involved with when you were playing festivals, and there just wasn't as many. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Other things are kind of mostly similar. You know, I don't know. There's some like nice eco things. Sometimes you get to a venue and they don't have any plastic bottles and they've got like things like that. You know, I think that's kind of cool. But there's not much else that's changed.
Note to Australian
I get
venues.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, actually, I'm kind of thinking there's one venue we played in Brisbane a few times, and that's the case. I'm like, oh, that's really good. You know, they do that. Actually, one thing that's changed is first tour to America, we were like under 21, so we weren't allowed in a lot of the clubs. And there was one venue where like they let us come in for sound check, and then we had to go straight back out, and then they let us come in to play the gig, and then we had to leave straight away as well. That was in San Diego, but like, well, that doesn't happen now. You're 47.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're pretty young looking dude. Do you still get ID?
Thanks. No, definitely not. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So yeah, it's been a while.
Crazy. Well, you've probably got a pretty tight
Yeah.
schedule to stick to, so we'll let you go in a second. But before I do, I'm going to tell you that
Yeah.
I'm your support act in Melbourne.
Hey, oh, that's fantastic. Okay, cool. Oh, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see you.
Yeah,
That's
so
gonna be
yeah,
awesome.
I sing in the band Catholic Guilt, who are opening for you in Melbourne, which will be a quite a fun experience. And what a random occurrence! So when this came through, I'm like, oh, well, of course I want
Okay.
to have a chat to Tim.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Yeah, no, yeah, you know, listen through your stuff, and I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, this is the band we want for the show. So that's awesome. Can't wait to see you, see you in action.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, and
Yeah,
also like as an Irishman, I'm sure the name probably connects in some way.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, we know all about it for sure.
Brilliant. Well,
Great name.
it's been a joy talking to you on here, man. I'm gonna do what
Yeah.
I usually do, and that's tell everyone a song by your band that instantly improves my mood.
Oh,
And there's
okay.
many, and because I already mentioned "Burn Baby Burn" is my favorite, I'm gonna give a shout out to Kung Fu. Kung Fu is a
Hey,
song that
oh
instantly
yeah,
improves my mood the moment I hear it.
fantastic.
And I think it'll instantly improve anyone watching or listening to this mood the moment they hear it, as will going to see Ash on the singles tour, which kicks off next month on Sunday, the 6th of October in Perth at the Rosemont Hotel, and then heads to Adelaide at the Gov on the 8th. We're at the Triffid in Brisbane on the 10th. Then we're in Melbourne with a band called Catholic Guild, who I may or may not sing for, at 170 Russell on the 11th. And then on the 12th at Manning Bar in Sydney. And we all know that Melbourne will be better than Sydney because it just simply is.
I'm staying out of it.
It's been a thrill chatting to you, man. Have a lovely
Yeah,
rest of your evening or day, whatever time it is where you are right now.
yeah, yeah. It's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I think I've got the whole day ahead of me. So
That's
great.
brilliant.
Yeah, have a good evening too. Thank
I
you so
will
much,
do.
and I'll see you at soundcheck.
Indeed. See you at Soundcheck. See you, man.
Yeah.